Top 10 games released in January 2026. January is usually a slow month for gaming, but January 2026 absolutely did not get that memo. We got everything from massive JRPGs and anime adaptations to atmospheric indie gems and full-blown AAA releases. So today, we're breaking down the top 10 games released in January 2026, not just listing them, but actually reviewing what they do right, where they stumble, and who they're really for. Let's jump in. 10. Highguard. Free-to-play multiplayer shooter. Starting off at number 10 is Highguard, a free-to-play multiplayer shooter that tries to shake things up in a genre that's honestly pretty crowded right now. Highguard mixes fast-paced gunplay with fantasy-inspired characters, each with unique abilities that dramatically change how matches play out. Movement is smooth, gun feedback feels satisfying, and the maps are clearly designed around team coordination rather than solo hero moments. Where Highguard really shines is in short, intense matches. It's easy to jump in, play a few rounds, and feel like you accomplished something. However, at launch, content is a little thin. Limited maps and modes mean repetition can set in faster than expected. That said, as a free-to-play title, the foundation here is strong. If the developers continue to expand it with new characters, maps, and balance updates, Highguard could carve out a real space in the competitive shooter scene.
Mio, Memories in Orbit.
Metroidvania Indie Adventure. Mio, Memories in Orbit is one of those games that hooks you almost instantly with its atmosphere. Set inside a massive, abandoned space ark, you play as Mio, a small, agile explorer uncovering the lost memories of a forgotten civilization. The hand-drawn art style is stunning, with soft lighting, melancholic music, and environments that feel lonely in the best way. Gameplay leans heavily into exploration and platforming. New abilities slowly open up the map, encouraging backtracking and discovery. Combat is intentionally simple. It's there to support exploration, not dominate it. And while some players may want more depth, others will appreciate how it keeps the focus on the world itself. Mio isn't trying to reinvent the Metroidvania genre, but it executes the formula with confidence and emotional weight. If you love atmospheric indie games that reward curiosity, this one is absolutely worth your time. Arknights. Enfield. Action RPG strategy hybrid. Arknights. Enfield is a bold evolution of the Arknights universe, moving from tower defense into a fully 3D action RPG experience. You explore large open zones on the planet Talos 2, managing a squad of characters with distinct combat styles while also building and optimizing industrial facilities. Combat blends real-time action with strategic character switching, encouraging you to think about positioning and team composition rather than button mashing. The game's biggest strength is its ambition. It tries to merge base building, RPG progression, and narrative storytelling into a cohesive experience, and for the most part, it succeeds. However, the pacing can be slow, especially early on, and some players may find the systems overwhelming at first. Still, for fans of Arknights or players who enjoy deep, layered mechanics, Enfield offers a surprisingly rich experience that feels more substantial than many free-to-play RPGs. Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon. JRPG story-driven. If you're a fan of classic JRPGs, Trails Beyond the Horizon is exactly what you want, and exactly what you expect. This entry continues the Trails tradition of deep world-building, slow-burn storytelling, and an enormous cast of characters whose lives and relationships evolve over time. Combat sticks to turn-based systems but adds modern refinements that keep battles engaging even deep into the game. The real star here is the writing. Dialogue is dense, political tensions feel believable, and side quests often carry just as much narrative weight as the main story. This isn't a game you rush, it's one you live in. That said, newcomers may feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of lore. Trails Beyond the Horizon assumes you're willing to invest time and attention. But if you do, you'll be rewarded with one of the most immersive RPG experiences released this year. Pathologic 3. Psychological Horror Narrative RPG. Pathologic 3 is not here to make you comfortable, and that's entirely the point. Set in a plague-stricken town, the game challenges you to survive while unraveling a disturbing mystery. Resources are scarce, choices are morally complex, and the world constantly pushes back against you. Unlike traditional horror games, Pathologic 3 relies less on jump scares and more on psychological tension. Conversations feel unsettling, time pressure is relentless, and every decision has consequences you may not fully understand until it's too late. This is not a game for everyone. It's slow, punishing, and emotionally draining. But for players who appreciate narrative depth and philosophical themes, Pathologic 3 is one of the most thought-provoking releases of January. Fairy Tale Dungeons. Roguelike deck builder. Fairy Tale Dungeons takes the beloved anime universe and spins it into a roguelike deck-building experience. You assemble decks using spells, abilities, and characters from the fairy tale world, then dive into procedurally generated dungeons where every run plays out differently. Combat is turn-based and strategic, rewarding smart card synergies rather than brute force. The game is clearly designed with fans in mind. Familiar characters, flashy animations, and plenty of fan service. However, even if you're not deeply invested in the anime, the core gameplay loop is solid enough to stand on its own. Repetition can creep in during longer sessions, but as a bite-sized roguelike you can jump into between bigger games. Fairy Tale Dungeons is surprisingly fun. Code Violet.
Survival horror sci-fi.
Code Violet is a love letter to classic survival horror. Set in a grim sci-fi environment, the game emphasizes limited ammo, tense exploration, and deliberate combat. Enemies are dangerous, resources are precious, and sometimes the smartest move is to run. What makes Code Violet stand out is its atmosphere. Lighting, sound design, and environmental storytelling work together to create constant unease. You're rarely safe, and the game wants you to feel that. It's not the flashiest game on this list, but it's confident in its design. If you miss the slower, scarier style of old-school horror games, Code Violet delivers exactly that. Cairn. Climbing Simulator Adventure. Cairn is one of the most unique releases of January 2026. There's no combat, no enemies, just you, a mountain, and gravity. Every climb requires careful planning, precise movement, and stamina management. One mistake can send you tumbling down, forcing you to rethink your approach. The beauty of Cairn lies in its simplicity. The game is calm, quiet, and surprisingly intense. Each successful ascent feels earned, not scripted. This isn't a game for adrenaline junkies, but for players who enjoy mastery, patience, and immersive design. Cairn is a standout experience. The 7 Deadly Sins Origin. Open-world action RPG. The 7 Deadly Sins Origin brings the anime's world to life in a fully open-world action RPG. Combat is fast and flashy, with real-time character switching and combo-based attacks. Exploration is a major focus, with large environments packed with side quests, secrets, and co-op challenges. The game stays faithful to its source material while also giving players freedom to explore and experiment. Performance issues at launch hold it back slightly, but patches have already improved stability. For anime fans, this is one of the most ambitious adaptations we've seen, and a strong step forward for anime-based RPGs. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Switch 2 and Xbox release. Taking the #1 spot is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, now available on even more platforms. This version includes the full Midgar storyline along with the Yuffie intermission episode, offering a polished, cinematic RPG experience. Combat blends action and strategy beautifully, letting you slow time to issue commands while still delivering flashy real-time attacks. The storytelling is emotional, character-driven, and visually stunning. Even years after its original release, FFVII Remake still feels modern and impactful. For newcomers, this is the perfect entry point. For longtime fans, it's a masterful reimagining of a classic. Either way, it earns its place at the top. And that's our top 10 games released in January 2026. Which one are you playing right now? Or which one's next on your list? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and subscribe for more deep dive gaming content. I'll see you in the next video.